Today we are going to be cooking Asaro. It's yam pottage. It's made from the African yam. Here we go. And this is the size I'm using today. I already have it cubed and already cooking because of our time. It's already cut in cubes and already cooking. So you put some water, you put some salt, you cut it up, some water, some salt. Here we go. And a little trick I use, because sometimes the yam begins to foam and you get it all over your stove. A little trick I use whenever I'm cooking yam is I put a little oil, just a little. That stops it from foaming over. That way you don't have to just stand next to your, I put just a spoonful of oil. That will keep it from foaming over. That is already cooking. And we have our ingredients here. It's a very simple dish as usual. We've got the palm oil, and you can use vegetable oil if you want. I've chopped up some onions and I've got some crayfish. So I'm going to start, I already blended my tomatoes and pepper. So here it is. Some bell pepper, some tomatoes, some, if you want, the Scotch bonnet, and a medium-sized, two medium-sized onions. I have one chopped and I have one already blended. Okay, so we are good to go. My oil is already on. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to start us off, because I didn't want, that's one of the reasons why we were a little bit late this morning. We are trying to prep as much as possible to make sure that the videos are not too long. So here we go. I'm going to throw some chopped onions inside the oil. And be careful. That's hot oil. Just a little oil. Just a little oil. I'm going to saute it. I'm going to also put in crayfish. The reason why I put the crayfish inside the oil is because it releases an aroma. So you put that in. When the crayfish begins to fry, it smells really, really good. You can smell it already. Smelling good. Okay. My yam is already there cooking. I'm going to leave that for about 2 minutes so that it really releases it. Now the yam is cooking. I have my palm oil. I'm going to put my palm oil in so that it really gets into the yam. Okay. So that's my kitchen spoon. I usually don't use palm oil, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in. I put about 2. And palm oil has its own, it has its own aroma. It's really nice. Especially if you get the really fresh one, that gives it time to soak into the yam. And here we are. You can see the crayfish and the onions. I'm now going to add my pepper, remember I had this with 1 medium-sized onion. All that is already in here and nicely blended. I'm not going to need all of that. So I'm just going to leave that to fry a little. And while that is going on, we can talk. All right, we're good. Everything is looking good. Now with yam, it depends. If you've got dry yam, if it's late in the season, if the harvest has been done for a while, yam tends to dry out, much the same as your potatoes. So it depends. So you have to keep checking. So if it's the new yam, if it's fresh yam, it will be done in 12-15 minutes. But if it's the old yam, it might take another 5 minutes longer. So you have to know the kind of yam you have, the texture of yam you have. So while that is cooking, I'm just going to show off a little. I also have here some smoked fish. If you want, you can use smoked fish. You can also use what do you call it? You could also use minced meat, already browned. You know, you already browned it. You could use your turkey, minced chicken. You would have browned it already, you know, ahead of time, so that when the sauce is ready, you can add it. That could be your protein if you want. But asaro is good without anything. And you can use smoked fish. I've got some smoked fish here. I'm not using it. So that goes in here. I'm waiting for this to cook a little. And very, very soon our asaro will be ready. It's going to be ready. So it's a very simple meal. You will notice all I used was the yam, our basic ingredients that we've used through time, the bell pepper, the tomatoes, 3 medium-sized tomatoes, scotch bonnet if you want. I've got some palm oil. I use 3 spoons of the palm oil, a little salt. Let me make sure that I have enough salt in that meal so that we don't have a tasteless meal. That's it. Now, this is, I want that to cook a little because I'm going to add it to that. It's much the same as, you know, your jollof rice. Sometimes you...
Someone is asking if this is edikaiko.
Asaro is yam pottage. Some people also call it ebe. And I think it's eaten all over West Africa. People have different names for it. The Yoruba name is asaro. So this is going nicely, and it's a meal that you can do. It's very easy. So what I did was I blended that, the tomatoes, the onion, the pepper, and I'm already cooking that on the side. You don't have to do it. Sometimes you can just pour everything inside the yam, put the blended tomatoes, everything, the palm oil you want to use, put it all inside the yam and boil it all together. That's a way of doing it. I did it this way because I wanted to release the aroma of the crayfish. That's why I did the crayfish separately with some onions. I wanted to release it so that the aroma of it is already all over your kitchen, and when you are now serving it, you can actually feel it. So I'm good with that. To my cooking yam. If you don't want to use palm oil, you don't need to use palm oil. You can use, I usually don't use palm oil, but I just used it this time because, now, so here we go. And you can see the yam is already softening up. We're not going to leave it to cook a little. Now, if you are going to use your smoked fish or your minced meat already prepped for about 5-7 minutes, or minced chicken or minced turkey, you would have browned it, it would have been done. And if you had already done all that, all you then need to do is, when this is nearly done, you just sprinkle it on top of it. You just sprinkle it, whether you use smoked fish, whatever, you just sprinkle it on top of it, so that it keeps, because we are going to mash that the yam a little. It's nearly done now. So I told you I was going to show off a little. So the tomatoes I used today all came from my garden, and every day I've been harvesting from that garden, and it's just been a delight. All the hard work. So here we are. All this comes from the garden. You can see all the tomatoes. I've got some okra, just a little okra, and I've got a little vegetable, just a little vegetable. Look at all the okra, look at all the tomatoes. And this is my, what the Liberians call it jute leaf. We call it ewedu. It's a vegetable. When you cook it, it draws. So all this is coming from the garden. And all that I used this morning. My red bell pepper is not ready yet. It should be ready in another 2 weeks. And once that is done, I probably don't have to go to the store So here we are, what do you call it, from farm to kitchen. So here we have our farm to kitchen going on. Our ebe is nearly ready. I have a little smoked fish. I'm just going to, let me make sure that this is, you can see, I can actually break. I'm going to leave it to cook a little more. I think it needs a little more time. The yam is dry, so it's a little hard. So we're just going to give it a little more time. I'm going to just sprinkle some dry fish on it so that that also absorbs some of the juices. Just a little. We are doing good. In another 3-4 minutes, our ebe will be ready to serve. So, we've learned a lot in our Reflections Kitchen in the last 18 weeks. Can you believe it? It's about 18 going to 19 weeks. So, we want to move to the next level because in another few days, before you know it, we'll be counting 150 days of reflection. So, we are going to have a little competition. We are going to be having a reflections chef, and what that means is that I want to see who has learned anything from all the lessons that we have been teaching. 2-3 weeks ago, I believe we had our little chef here. Her name is Ola. She taught us how to make Scotch eggs. The idea for the Reflections Kitchen is to show us simple ways to prepare meals, and especially it was to encourage some of our women who feel that cooking is too much of a hassle, and to also encourage our young ladies and young men to cook, to start cooking. And I've been getting some really encouraging reports. People have been sending me pictures, you know, men have been saying, oh, we enjoyed that. So it's really been good. It's been a family time, and I like that. So to take us to the next level, I want to open this up. The dishes that we have learned to cook on Reflections, I want you to video yourself preparing it and send it to me, not more than 10 minutes. You'll have to, if you send it to me, I'll find a way of editing it for you. But it has to be nice, it has to be, just send it to me, and then I'll have some technical people work with you in your kitchen to help you do a better production if your production isn't good enough. Now, it's open to all our young men and women under 25. Okay? It's also open to all who are not, if you are not Nigerian or married to a Nigerian, because most of the dishes we have learned so far are Nigerian dishes. So if you are not a Nigerian and you are not married to a Nigerian, it's also open to you. So everyone under the age of 25, it's open to you. And for the videos we choose, it's going to be $100. I'm going to choose the 5 best videos, and we are going to be reflecting them. We are going to be showing them off on Reflections when we hit 150. So within the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be expecting your videos in. I want you to follow the method that you are taught on Reflections Kitchen. So that's an assignment. If you want to participate, you'll have to go back on Facebook or YouTube. The Facebook is better because it's mostly unedited, so it takes you through step by step. Okay? So that will be 5 winners at $100. And then we'll have another category later, and probably by the time we are hitting, Reflections is hitting 365 sessions or a year, we'll be able to have our Reflections chef. I don't know what your price will be by then. Maybe if the borders are open, maybe you will get a trip to I don't know, Jamaica, Bahamas. Wouldn't that be nice? All right. So we are open. I'm expecting that. And more information will be put out during the week. You can see this is looking nice. So what I'm trying to do is to break it up a little. Depends on how you like it. Some people like it with the whole yams, you know, sitting in like that. And some people like it mashed up a little. Not all the way, but just mashed up a little. So I'm going to just mash it up a little. Just a little. Not too much. This yam is dry yam. It's a little hard. So, and we are good.
Smells good.
Yeah, it's looking really good too. Well, if we didn't put enough salt, it's too late now. It's good. The palm oil gives it a really nice, rich flavor. So here we are. And don't forget, Reflections Kitchen Competition is on. The 5 best videos will be chosen and we'll all get to vote which one is the best, who has learned the best from Reflections Kitchen. Those 5 winners get $100 each. We are going to have various categories as time goes on. For this, it's what you have learned on Reflections. Next time, I might say, you know, give me a dish that is your favorite, prepare it and send it to us. And here we are. Our ebe is all done. So if you've been following me on Reflections, reward time is around the corner. Probably next summer, you'll be somewhere out in the Bahamas, having a good time, sending me a video of yourself sitting by the beach. All right then. It's been nice having you. Reflections Kitchen Competition is on, and we'll see who the winner is, and we'll be announcing that much later. So it's been good having you with me today. We just cooked Asaro, or ebe. Some people call it yam pottage. It's a dish that we love all over West Africa. So looking forward to seeing you again next time. And it's Fumi Opilano on Reflections.